Hey everyone, it's Kai here. So this is my second video for the vlog. I am officially 2 weeks on testosterone today. I just had my second shot this afternoon. Um, there's not a whole lot of changes that have happened. I mean, it's only been 2 weeks, but I kind of wanted to go through um, that process a little bit. Um, I fully had intended to do the shot myself today, but I've been under a good amount of stress the past couple of weeks. It's been crazy with work, and I don't know if you guys are feeling this too, but there's definitely been something in the air that it has just got people kind of, I don't know, out of sorts or something. So that's been kind of stressful, and I've been really busy at work. But I have been noticing some changes, which has been really exciting for me. One of them is that I feel a little bit more clear headed. So, like, even in the stressful situations and stuff like that, like, I feel kind of more leveled out, and my energy levels are definitely better. And yeah, I just overall I feel lighter, and I don't know if that's because I feel relieved that I'm taking testosterone or if it's an actual side effect of the testosterone itself. Um, I've noticed a little bit more hair growth overall. Like in general, I'm kind of a hairy person because of my genetics, and have always kind of had like a little bit of facial hair. Like I've gotten like little like mustache and like a little bit of chin hairs and stuff like that. Um, but I could get away with like waxing it or whatever, like once every 2 weeks kind of thing. And then if I felt I needed to, would kind of like shave it every, you know, 2 or 3 days. And now just to keep that under wraps, I have to shave essentially like every day, or I have full on stubble, which I know a lot of trans men would be super excited about. But I'm a little bit nervous about looking like a woman with a beard at this point. Um, my voice hasn't changed, I don't think. But I did have someone who saw me who didn't know I was on testosterone, who had seen me the week before I started testosterone. They told me that my face has changed a little bit, like something with like my jawline, or like I look more broad or something, which I thought was pretty funny. But I'll take it. I mean, if my face is changing, then awesome, bring it on. Like, and I asked a couple of other people about it because I'm a little bit obsessed with this whole process, and I might not see it because I'm looking at myself every day. Um, but they said that there's definitely some, like, my face is not quite as round, and I'm getting some more like definition in my face, which I don't know if you can see or not. If you can't, it's fine. I haven't noticed it. Um, I started going to the gym because this was something that a lot of um, trans guys have talked about. Like if you go to the gym and your muscle mass changes, um, you know, you're able to like lift more, and you can lift heavier and stuff like that over time. So I was interested to see if I would like notice anything, and also like I kind of want to be like a strong dude, especially because I'm so small. Like I'm only 5'1", so I'm pretty little. But I thought that maybe if I go to the gym, I can get like some big shoulders or something. That would be kind of cool. I've definitely noticed like a drastic increase in strength already, which I'm like it's not just because I'm going to the gym, 4 or 5 days a week. It's like been in this last 2 weeks. So like even going to the gym for like 2 years or something like that, I could only make incremental increases in how much weight I could lift. But in just these 2 weeks, that's increased about 20%, which is really drastic, considering how short of an amount of time it has been. I did not think that that was a thing, but apparently it is. I also, like, I really wanted to start going so I could kind of connect with my body a little bit more. I'm a little bit nervous about losing my sense of self in this, or maybe not being able to recognize myself. But I think with going to the gym and it being a slow, gradual process, that's less likely to happen. I've also noticed that I've been getting a little bit more vascular. Like, I have like these veins that have been like popping out on my hands, which is like kind of weird. And they weren't so prominent before, but they're definitely more noticeable now. Um, which maybe is also from like working out or something like that. In the first like 24 hours after my first tea shot, I noticed that I smelled different. My sense of smell is almost like stronger, and so I thought that I was really smelly, and I kept asking the people around me, like, do I smell like really bad right now? Because I felt like I smelled super bad. But people were like, no, you smell like normal, you smell fine. So maybe my sense of smell has just like intensified for whatever reason. Um, but my urine smelled really bad. Like, that was a definite, like, it smelled like I ate a field of asparagus, which I know is like really gross, but if we're talking about documenting like testosterone changes, that is definitely a thing that happened in the first like 24 hours afterwards. Um, as far as changes goes, that's pretty much it. Um, like, I'll go into like a little bit of um, like the down there's at the end of this video, but I want to give people who might not want to listen to that, you know, family or friends or whatever, the opportunity to just like stop the video. So I'll give you a warning before I go into that. I started seeing my therapist for like trans therapy stuff regularly. Well, not regularly, but like I started with her and now have, or I started with them and now have like a regular scheduled session with them. So I've started that process, which is pretty cool. And then I also started the process to get top surgery. I wasn't sure how I felt about surgery initially, and I am definitely not getting bottom surgery. It's not something I'm interested in. The concept of that is a little bit terrifying to me, just because of complications and things like that. And I'm like, my bits don't really make me super dysphoric, but it's more so the shape of my body that has always kind of given me a lot of dysphoria, especially like as I've gotten older. And I want to look like this, not like this. Yeah. So I got my letter from my therapist for top surgery, and I have an appointment with my endocrinologist to get a second letter on Thursday, and then I have an appointment with my GP. Yes, you have to have 3 letters. One from your GP, one from a specialist, and one from a therapist. So I have my appointment with my GP at the end of August. And then there has been a long wait time, especially with COVID, but according to my therapist, that has lessened significantly. So you end up like where sometimes you were waiting like 2 years, which is kind of crazy. Now it's like it could be 6 weeks or 6 months, and you can kind of schedule it yourself a little bit. So where my job is labor intensive, I would like to have my top surgery in the winter, ideally, if I can make that happen, if they can fit me in. And it's only a day surgery, and there's a couple of different types of surgeries that you can go for. I'm trying to build up my pec muscles now, just so that they have more of a defined chest to work with when I get top surgery, and I'll have to go to Montreal for that, and it's all covered under my healthcare including travel costs, because there's no one in my province that does it. So I was pretty excited to hear that, because I thought that I would have to cover, everything except for possibly the surgery. And when I found out it could be a 2-year wait list, I was like, no, this is definitely something that I want within 2 years, but I also don't want it, tomorrow, because I want to be able to plan my life and my job around it. I've also been looking into the official document changes, so like changing my name and my gender markers. I'm a little bit hesitant about doing that, just because I, if I need to travel or something like that, and while I still look female, if I had a male marker on my documents, then it might cause some confusion. But what I was thinking I might do is changing it on my driver's license. And because you can change your gender marker to X, so I can change my name over and then change my gender marker to X. And then once I'm passing, like I can't walk into a female washroom, the washroom with the dress, without little old ladies or something being like, "Hey, sir, get out." That's happened before anyway, it's a different story. But, little old ladies are getting concerned that there's a man in the washroom. That's when I'm thinking that I will probably feel comfortable being like, okay, like I'm going to change everything over on my passport too, because there's, I'll be able to get through customs without questions if I go to the United States or something like that. But yeah, I was really happy to hear that there was that I could change my gender marker to an X, and I could change my name. I'm not quite sure if this is going to cause issues in the future with my job if I happen to change it before then. But I'm kind of thinking when my contract ends with my job, I don't plan on working with that company anymore, just because it's not an overly trans or queer friendly environment. Like I work in the trades, so there's, in this company in particular, there's like a lot of like, aggro dudes who are like manly, and like I'm not even, out as queer to people at my workplace, because it just doesn't feel safe. And once my contract ends, I don't plan on going back there, just because it's not, it doesn't align with my values or my morals, and I've really come to terms with that after being out to everyone else except for my workplace, and feeling like I can't come out at my workplace. So that's in the works as well. So I'm thinking like right around the time that I'm getting top surgery, I'll also, change my documents over, and I'll start that whole process in November. And then I also have to look into changing my school documentation over for when I go back to school, because I would like if they would, refer to me as Kai in the classroom. So I have to kind of look into how to go about doing that. I think I just like send an email off and they can change my name pretty easily, so how it comes up at school, I just don't want it to affect my student loans or something like that. So I do have to do a little bit more research on that. Yeah, what else? I think there's been like a lot, but like not a whole lot at the same time. I had a good conversation about gender markers with my endocrinologist, and how they're, basically have come over from these like sexist ideals that, what gender you are doesn't really matter in like when you're assessing someone medically, unless it's like something specifically like with your uterus or, your prostate or something like that. But for the most part, we're all just a body, and it's all just treated the same. And it comes from, needing to identify who is male and who's female, and who gets what kind of care and how are they cared for. And that really got me thinking about a lot of things. And I was like, well, it's like kind of messed up, like there needs to be another way to kind of assess things in the medical system that isn't just like a gender marker that causes so much stress. Because yeah, we are just kind of these human bodies, and the only thing that really makes us different is the hormones and stuff like that. And I mean, we are more predisposed to certain conditions, but those conditions actually change when you start taking hormones. So like I'm more predisposed to heart conditions and like high blood pressure and stuff now. Oh, that's another thing that changed. I've gotten really warm. Like I'm more sweaty, and my body temperature is like warmer overall. And that's been in, these 2 weeks. Yeah, so I think that's it for most of the changes. I will talk about some like things that are difficult to talk about now, regarding like my down there's and just like people, like trans people in general, because it's not something that we often talk about. So I'll give you like 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. End the video here if you don't want to hear about my junk. Okay, so one thing that I also learned was that when you transition, your bits atrophy. So I am going to talk to my endocrinologist about that on Thursday, and just looking at getting like an estrogen cream, because your like uterus and your ovaries can fuse together and become septic because it's not producing any like fluids and things to keep them lubricated, and you can go into like septic shock. So I really need to talk to her about that, because it happens to a lot of trans men 2 years after starting testosterone, when nothing's happening like with your sex organs and things like that, and you're not getting periods and things like that, and it can just like atrophy, and you can get really painful cramps, almost like really intense period cramps, in particular like after orgasm and stuff like that. So that is definitely like something that I want to look into, because I don't want to end up in like a really dire situation that could be prevented just by having an estrogen cream applied. The second thing is that I have noticed some changes down there, which I didn't think would happen so soon, and I'm really nervous about, because I was like, I either want like full-on male genitalia, or like I don't want anything to change. But you don't have a whole lot of say over that, and these aren't things that will change back. Like if I were to like be like, oh, I need to stop taking testosterone, this isn't for me, my voice won't go back, my hair growth won't go back, which is kind of funny, because I've also not really been like super jazzed about getting super hairy. Like I may still get laser to like groom up the hair in different spots, and I'm not even sure how I'll feel about facial hair. And then you also get growth like of your clitoris, that it kind of turns into like a tiny like dink sometimes. So you might end up with like a 3-inch penis, unless you're some sort of medical anomaly, which I haven't heard documented at all, and you actually get like a full-on penis. But that I haven't heard of that happening. So I noticed like one day I was like showering, and like was like washing myself, and then shit was like really sensitive, and I was like, what the fuck? And I looked at it and was like, oh, okay, so there's some sort of change happening down there that I wasn't ready for. And I looked it up, and it can happen in as early as 1 week, which is about the time that I noticed it. And yeah, and you don't really have any control over like how much growth you're going to get down there. And then it also gets more sensitive the same way as a penis would, because it's all the same bits. We're all like born female, and then based on our hormones it changes into a penis. But But yeah, so that wasn't something that I was like super jazzed about. But whatever, you take whatever you can. But for the most part, I feel really good overall. And I also got this like really sweet journal from a friend of mine to try and organize my vlog thoughts. So thank you, friends, for this. I'm using it, and I'll update you guys in another 2 weeks. Bye!